After 2 decades of effort, how could it come to this? Places we've become so familiar with, such as Lashkar Ga and Kandahar, where our brave service personnel pushed the Taliban back in fierce battles and with a huge cost of life, now taken once again by the very insurgency we entered Afghanistan to defeat. This withdrawal is a strategic error. It started with a political decision made during the US election cycle to bring our boys home, and now we see a terrible civil war and humanitarian crisis unfold as the vacuum we leave is quickly filled. Yet cast back over the last couple of years and Afghanistan was not much in the news. NATO forces had significantly downsized its presence since 2014 but offered a minimalist presence, including air superiority, to give Afghan forces the edge and contain the threat from the Taliban. This cannot be what we ever thought success, or our eventual handover, would look like. Our departure will go down as the biggest own goal the West has made so far this century and comes with a significant humanitarian cost. Those who are able to will flee to Europe, leaving behind the most vulnerable as girls are taken out of school and employment and many are captured by Taliban fighters as jihadi brides. And it will return to be a breeding ground for recruiting, training and arming terrorist groups. It is only a matter of time before we endure another 9/11-style attack symbolically bookending the West's time in Afghanistan. This departure leaves us all less secure. But we should also put our hand up and admit that greater progress should have been made over 20 years. Sadly, looking back, 5 key errors were made. Firstly, the big lesson from Northern Ireland: insurgency cannot be overcome by military means alone. We denied the Taliban a seat at the table back in December 2001 when the future of Afghanistan was first discussed. How different things could have been had they been included. Secondly, we didn't start seriously training Afghan forces until 2005, by which time the Taliban had retreated across the Pakistan border to regroup. Thirdly, we imposed a Western-centric model of governance that was entirely inappropriate for Afghanistan. We placed all the power in Kabul, completely ignoring centuries of complex tribal structures and local power bases. Fourthly, the invasion of Iraq unnecessarily opened up a new front which would prove to be a costly distraction in terms of both resources and political will. Finally, in spite of our promises to the 40 million Afghan people, we lacked the commitment to see it though. Grand statements were made on both sides of the Atlantic about global Britain and America is back, and then we gave up before the job was done. The biggest military alliance the world has ever seen has given way in literally days to a militia armed with AK-47s and homemade landmines. We need only look at where Afghanistan is on the map, sitting between our 3 main adversaries, China, Russia, and Iran. In a time of great global power competition, this is all the more reason why we must rethink our strategy and the role the UK can play. Learning from our past mistakes, we should return a minimal coalition to support the people of Afghanistan. It's time for Britain to stand up and lead the way.